Hello, 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 everyone. Listen, I'm excited to be on here, y'all. I'm gonna try to wait for a few people to come in. This is like it was a sneak up on you type of night. A week of announcement. So I'm gonna wait for a few people to come in, and I'm excited about those that will join me tonight for Author Talk. I'm coming to share a little bit about myself. For those of you that will watch the replay. Just diving right in to talk about what Author Talk is. Being a five-time best-selling author, I have just got in the place of wanting to celebrate people writing, people on their journeys, right? And so Author Talk came about of me um, getting other authors and talking with other authors, and being that I now deem myself as an anthologist because I then did about three and possibly working on four. And so that means that I have connected with many different authors. And so this platform was created to give them the space to come here and to chat and talk about their journeys of writing in their books, in their future projects. I mean, being the host of it, I thought, why wouldn't I go and tell people about my journey in all of the projects that I have been a part of? And so that's where Author Talk was birthed from. And so tonight I decided to come on and tell a little bit about my journey. And so I'm excited for those that will tune in. I'm gonna be really frank. It's some stuff I'm gonna share. Those of you that follow me long enough know I kind of flow. I'm not a scripted type of person. Even if I got questions down, a whole script written out, 10 times out of 10, I probably won't follow through with that. But I did come here because I wanted to share with you guys about what my journey has been like as a writer and as an author. And now being as of July, was it July or June? I am now a five-time best-selling author. So I'm definitely excited about that and have positioned myself to inspire, encourage, and coach other people to write out their stories. So I'm excited you guys can join me. I'm so committed that my room is a little hot. It's always hot, but I wanted to get on and honor the fact that I said that I would be on tonight for Author Talk. So I wanted to get on here. And I mean, if you see me looking off, that's probably because I'm um, working on this side to kind of get some people in the room. I know that I was supposed to be on at like 6, but because of this, I had some little setbacks. So give me a few minutes so I can get some stuff situated, and then we'll go into me sharing about my. Wait a minute, I was like that. Sharing about my journey as an author. Let me see. Yeah, let me see. Journey as an author. For those of you that come in the room, just comment, let me know that you're here. I'm excited to have you here. You know, possibly share. This is about inspiring others to write their story, inspiring authors to write their stories. It has definitely been a journey for me. So I want to come share and inspire again, encourage. Writing is a beautiful thing. With being a writer myself, uh, I've even created a movement, Writing to Heal, because I realized with writing that it has helped me heal past so many things. Tonight, I'll show you one of my books, and it's my solo project, Metamorphosis. Metamorphosis was a space for me to become liberated. It was a story, the Metamorphosis told the story about my life as early as 5 years old up until the age of 34. And I announced that I am going to go back and I am going to do some revamping and extend it out even the further. But Metamorphosis tells the journey of my traumatic experiences, how, different things that I've experienced in life, and how God made me over, how God transformed my life, right? And so in that particular book, it was, I was afraid to tell many stories because I didn't want to make my family look bad. I didn't, it wasn't out to hurt anyone, but it was more so And again, I'm gonna keep telling you, I'm gonna have to wipe my face because I'm sweating a little bit. But it was about encouraging people. It was about encouraging myself, and even being bold enough to come and tell my story. I realized that it made me free. When I feel like when I hit that send button to send my manuscript off, that was like the key to my liberty. And those of you that know, I'm a spirit-filled believer. I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe in our Lord and Savior, right? And so not taking the credit that God didn't do it for me, or God hadn't already freed me, but it was something that I had to do in the natural. And so in the natural, me writing the manuscript about metamorphosis and telling all of those bad experiences that I had, all of those things that I believe had kept me bound, and they did. All experiencing stuff that made me so encouraged that I thought I wasn't going to succeed in life or that I would be anything, right? I always talk about this whole idea of don't allow your address. Um, don't allow your address to speak to where you're going, right? Your address, where you're going, is not predicated on what your address is. And in metamorphosis, that's what I was telling, the story of how I was raised up, different things that I had experienced as a little girl, and how I then found them showing up in my adult life. But then even coming into a real relationship with Christ and God transforming my life. And so Metamorphosis is one of many books that I have wrote. Before Metamorphosis, I was a part of an anthology titled Brutal Courage. Tonight, I don't have Brutal Courage here with me, but for those of you that may want to go on my website and purchase it, you're more than welcome to. But even in Brutal Courage, that particular book was about, and it's myself, and I want to say about 25 other writers telling stories, about brutal stories, and having the courage and the audacity to move past those stories, right? I mean, and that book was it was men and women. And so it went from brutal courage to metamorphosis. And even in metamorphosis, I thought absolutely I never even wanted to write a book. Never thought that I could write a book, never had it on my to-do list to write a book. But God saw fit that it would be a thing, because somebody literally, came up to me and they gave me a book and they was like, "You need to read this book because one day you'll be like this lady." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." But I didn't know what they meant of being like the lady. So I did get the book, I did read the book, but I never thought, it was not my ideal to be an author. And so I had been prophesied to that I was going to write. And I was looking at them people like, I don't know what I'm going to write, because I didn't desire to write any book. And so when I participated in the Brutal Courage anthology, it was like getting my feet wet. Not that I wasn't prepared or walking into writing my manuscript for Metamorphosis, but when I tell you I was so liberated with writing Metamorphosis, it was like I couldn't stop. And so from there, I did Metamorphosis, and like 2 months later, I did the Heal Woman anthology. And so I literally published 3 books in 1 year, literally in 1 year. From, I want to say, as early as March to August, I had published 3 books. And I was like, how the nerve of me to publish 3 books when I said that I would never even write one. And so even doing the Heal Woman, I didn't stop, but I still didn't stop. And so I went on, and then I was the lead author of Dear Dad. And so Dear Dad is a co-ed book of men and women, and it has about, I want to say, about 23 different authors in there, 22 including outside of myself. And so it didn't stop there. I went on, and I'm the lead author of The Diary of a Single Mom. And so I say all that to say that originally I talked about not writing one. Like, I didn't have the desire to write one. I'm gonna be frank here, because anyone that is connected to me, tied to me, know that I'm very transparent. I didn't think that I could say anything that made sense. I didn't think that anything that I was gonna write, that it was gonna be readable. Like, I never was like it was gonna be a waste of my time. So when I was prophesied to about the writing, I just was like, I don't know what they see, because I'm not doing it, because it would be a waste of my time to do that. And then I remember the Lord showing me in a dream of me writing out these different pamphlets. And I told God, like, I don't know even why you showing me that, because I was so sure that I would never, ever, ever write a book. And I went, and when I started, I haven't stopped. It's so many different things come to me now that I have to write down, or it's an idea. And those that know me, if I get an idea, baby, I am acting on it. I'm not going to tell you that I'm going to do. I don't speak it if I'm not going to do it. And so that's just how been operating. And so this journey of writing, of being an author, it has been a beautiful thing, because as I have learned how it has been liberating for me, I have now connected and joined with people all over the world to allow their writings to become healings for them. I've had people be a part of my project. Hey, Kadena. I've had people be a part of my projects that later on went off, and now they're doing their own projects. And so I really bless God for the opportunity. I bless God for seeing something in me, clearly, that I didn't see in myself, right? Or even connecting me to the right people, or putting the people in my vicinity to speak those things that I would be a writer. And so, in one of the most difficult books to write was Metamorphosis, and that's because it was the solo project, and it was dealing with my life experiences. It was dealing with the things that I dared to remember. It was dealing with stuff that, even as a young girl growing up, it was a lot of stuff that I wanted to get out my mind. I never wanted to think about those bad experiences again. And for those of you that have read or will read, you'll see the many different traumatic experiences that I had. And I honestly never thought that I would make it out of any of those things but God. I look at my life now, and I know it's only the hand of God that I've been able to get this far, that I've been able to do any of the things that I was doing. And so this journey has been definitely, it's been beautiful. It has been rewarding. It has been, it can become, and that's life journey of, well, anything. And even outside of being an author, being an entrepreneur and having so many other things, I am just so grateful for just these opportunities. And just, not even just saying I'm an author. I told y'all I'm a 5-time best-selling author. And even as I think about that, I think about my Metamorphosis book. And so just think about, I thought about never writing it. Challenge with writing it, because by time I was prepared to write this manuscript, I was um I was in church. And I knew that a lot of what I had to tell in my story, it wasn't no good stuff. I had lived if I can be honest, I consider it like a wicked life. I had just did all, I was in the world. And so I didn't want to release that book because I thought that people would look at me different. Like, I was so worried about how people would look at me. And then I even talked about, just not too long ago, about me feeling like what I had to say even mattered. And I know as of July, I want to say July 2021. As of July 2021, I took the time to record, to go back, and make note of that I had sold over 200 copies of Metamorphosis. I went from saying I didn't want to sell a book at all, or I wasn't going to do anything. So I had went back and that was 200, and that was in 2021. We are now in 2023, and I cannot tell you how many books, how many copies I've sold of Metamorphosis. That particular book was one that I wanted to keep track of. It was like that was my baby. And even as I begin to write these other anthologies, they're just yet parts of my story. But I know that Metamorphosis tells the full script of Brownisha's life, like, the ins and outs, things that people probably would dare to share, that I was, brave enough and courageous enough to, like, what, I don't even care what people think about me no more. I'm going to tell this story. And I had so many different testimonies of people reaching out and thanking me for sharing my story, because it helped them, and they wanted to get it for their daughter, and they wanted to get it for their auntie. Some people was like, well, my mom experienced these things. People was getting, they was buying their family members the book for their birthday. And I was like, okay, well, that's interesting that you got the book for your birthday, but it changed lives. And so for those of you that have you, if you are inspiring author, get to it. You never know what you're writing, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a memoir, but you don't know what you're writing will do for someone else. You don't know how it would encourage them, because not alone just in it being a writing, but it being you being the author, you being a writer, and someone looking to you and being inspired by you, and not just by you, but the work that you're doing. And that's one of the testimonies that I have been able to have, that people have really been inspired by my writing. And it's tied to, I mean, who God has placed me to be in, the life that people have saw me live and saw me overcome, right? And so being an overcomer, or people knowing you by who you used to be and who you become, that's inspiring for them. And so, like I said earlier, with Author Talk, it was creating a space for different authors to come in and talk about the journey, come in and talk about your writing. Even how I know a lot of people, when getting being a part of my anthologies, it was opening doors for them. And there has been so many different testimonies about my, being connected to the anthologies as well. And so I just want to encourage people to, go after your dreams. And it doesn't even have to be, because I'm gonna be frank, like I said, I'm an entrepreneur, so it doesn't have to just be the author alone, but whatever it is that is connected and tied to your dream and tied to your purpose, go after that. Because if I had not um eventually obeyed God and did the book right, if I didn't eventually obey him, then I could look around and see a lot of people that are writing now possibly wouldn't be writing, because I didn't first initially listen to the call, of God saying, Ranisha, I needed you to do this. And so now I'm able to look, and so many people are connected, and so many different things have been birthed from all of these many projects that I've been doing. I am connected to people all over the world through my anthologies, and I count it as a blessing. So I wanted to come here tonight and just talk a little bit about what that journey has looked like. I mean, it's been very accelerating, because I want to say, I did my first book in 2020. Was it 2020 or was it 2021? I want to say it was 2021. I published my very first book in 2021. In 2021, I published 3 books. It is now 2023, and I have published 5 books. It has been an accelerating pace for me to do 5 books in 3 years. So if I keep up the pace, ain't no telling, ain't no telling what will come from that. But I just definitely want to inspire you, those that will listen to the replay. I want to encourage you guys to write your story, write it out, create a schedule, get some time to yourself. Don't doubt what you are hearing. Don't doubt what you're writing, because I doubted it. And let me be one that inspires you. Let me be the encouragement for you. I doubted, like, this ain't nobody gonna want this. And literally, for Metamorphosis alone, I sold over 200 copies, over 200 copies, and I kept the record. I went back when I said I took out the time to every, whether I gave a couple of them away, whether I did my Amazon account. I literally kept track and record of all of the books that were sold. My Metamorphosis book even opened up opportunity for me to go into a transitional home with women, and the books were gifted to them, and that was about 20 um, women I was able to share, because I had lived, the life of being out in the world, out in the streets. A lot of some of the things that I had experienced, it was relatable for them. And so, they were sitting there listening. We talked about it. They were inspired. And that opportunity opened up another door for me to go back into another transitional home and share with women, and it's be inspired and encouraging them. And so it has really been a blessing to do the work, to do the writing, and to be an author. With the last book I did, The Diary of a Single Mom, when the book went bestseller, it wasn't a big deal to me. Not that being a bestseller is not a big deal, but I wasn't worried about me anymore. I was worried about the women that were attached to that particular project. I wanted to win for them. It had nothing to do with me. I wanted to see them win, because even with anthologies, when the book go bestseller, everybody is bestseller. Everybody is winning. Everybody that is attached to the project is winning. So for me, it wasn't about me. It was about them. It was about exposing them to something, even giving them the space and the opportunity to to share their stories. And so them sharing their stories, and I know on the Diary of a Single Mom project, it was as a mom, let me say this, as a mother, it's certain things that you don't want to share. And that's why I was talking about the diary, because we know the diary is where we put our intimate, the most intimate things, or, our expressions of our heart there. And so these mothers had came together and, I mean, poured their hearts out. If you haven't got the book, get the book. I really want to tell you to get all of the books, not because I'm the author, but you will find all these different beautiful testimonies in every last book. I mean, I would love for you to get Metamorphosis because it is a life changing event. Brutal Courage, some people said that they had to put Brutal Courage down. And like I said, Brutal Courage is co ed. Dear Dad is co ed. Dear Dad, so many different healings came from that for men and women. And so many relationships was restored with fathers. The Healed Woman, so much came from all of those different books. And so I say to, grab you a copy of the books, because whichever one resonate with you, if you need to hear the journey of the of the Healed Woman, then that's the book that you should get. If you are one that, not necessarily saying Dear Dad was like everyone had daddy issues, but if it's something as it pertains to your father, that you needed to express, or you that's just a part of what resonate with you, read the book, because it's, I want to say, guaranteed that you reading those different books will be a blessing to you. I have got so many testimonies about how individuals lives have been changed by the reads. I had one of my co-authors reach out to me and tell me about a young man saying that Dear Dad was therapeutic. And what I will say is everybody a part of that project was African American, but this individual that shared that it was therapeutic, I think he was Asian. I could be wrong, but he wasn't African American. And the reason why I say that, because so oftentimes we think in our culture that we're the only ones that may have struggled with certain things, and there are other cultures of people that they got issues with their mama, they got issues with their daddy. And so for this individual to say that Dear Dad was therapeutic, it was a blessing, because this book now is universal. It's for everybody, for men and women. And I announced early on, sometime this year, so I can say this now, that I even am preparing to do a Dear Dad for teenagers, a Dear Dad for kids, because it can start off as early as elementary school, that kids have fathers that they miss, have fathers that probably were never in their lives, and it affects them in a way. You can be a teenager and have those experiences. And so creating all this material is just to bring healing to God's people. It is my marketplace ministry. It's to bring healing to God's people, to give people a place to come, to pour out their hearts, to write, to testify, to gather, and talk about his goodness, of his keeping power, because we can only get here by the hand of God. And so I just wanted to stop by tonight and just share on Author Talk my journey as a writer, how I've been inspired. And I am preparing to do some things, and I will do them on an announcement basis. I'm not giving out no more nuggets on here tonight outside of I previously announced about the Dear Dad for the kids, so that was totally open to share. But I definitely wanted to stop by, as I've given other authors the platform and the space to tell their journeys of writing and how they've been inspired and what that has looked like to them. I wanted to stop by myself and just share a little bit. Those of you that follow me, you see that I have done a lot this year with my Dear Dad book. It is now in the Art Culture Hub store in Inglewood as of August 1st. The Healed Woman will be in the Art Culture Hub, and the Diary of a Single Mom. This year, I have published my fifth book, The Diary of a Single Mom. So I have been at a fast pace doing some great work. And I'm excited about that. I'm really, really excited about this journey that I have took of writing. And I got so many different pieces and materials that I'm holding on to as I prepare for possible more projects in the future. I'm not making no promises, but I do thank God that I went from not saying I will never write at all, to now that I have many, 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 many different manuscripts that I'm preparing, and just different things that are coming to mind. And so I want to inspire you. I want to continue to encourage you. I want to even uplift you and to push you that if you are one that desires to write, write. If you got to, some people start off with just paper and pen. Some people you put in a note to your phone. Some people you got to have your computer. There's even a thing that I came across. It's called transcribe. And so you literally can kind of like talk out your story and it will type up things for you. Look, I'm giving y'all nuggets and stuff that I normally will give to my book coaching clients. But hey, what is it? Bernicia came here tonight to share. And so I want to share. I definitely want to share. I want to push y'all. I seriously want to push you um, to go out and to write that book, and start small. You ain't got to do it all at once. Prepare, get you a schedule, set some time aside. I know with Metamorphosis, I went away on, I went away on weekends to kind of get my writing done. I went stayed at the hotel for like 3 days, like trying to get my story out, and needing that space of quietness to write. So it's different, what they say, different strokes for different folks. You really got to see what worked for you. I had an accountability partner when it came to writing Metamorphosis. So all of these things may be some things that you may need. You may need an accountability partner. You may have to go away from your home to write. You might have to get in, close yourself out in the closet, but get the work done. Get your work out there. Get your story out. Write the book. Write it. I got this coaching program called Let's Get This Book. Like, let's get it. Let's go after it. Let's do it. Let's birth it. Let's do this thing. And so again, I want to inspire you guys. And so I thank you for each and every one of you that have tuned in tonight for my author talk, for me to talk about my journey, for me to share, um, you know, what it's been like. It has been a beautiful journey. Metamorphosis was challenging, and life was happening too. While I was writing all these different projects and leading these projects, but it has been a beautiful journey. It has indeed been a beautiful journey to find myself. Not just even my books are not even just on Amazon. I know The Diary of a Single Mom is on Apple Books. It's on Barnes and Nobles. It's on Nook. It's on another website as well. Like literally, who would have thought that I would have been doing all that? Like, who would have thought that I've done any of these things? Like books inside of stores, right? And it was something that I spoke. And the Bible talks about calling things not though they were. Like we have to speak things into existence as God did in the beginning of time. And I remember doing a recording of one day my book will be in the store, and I meant it. I didn't know it would happen as fast as it happened, but I honestly meant it. So I'm just excited, and I hope you are inspired to get your pen to paper and get your story out, get your piece out, get your work out. Because it doesn't always have to be a memoir, or biography. I mean, you can do novels, you can, write poetry, whatever your thing is, do it. Don't sit on it, but do it. I'll even tell you, those of you that do journaling, some of you that journal, you don't even realize that your journal pieces could literally be a book. A metamorphosis. I use some of my journal pieces from as young as I believe it's 10 years old in my writing. So even look at those things. Those of you that like to journal, you know, I mean, those of you that have diaries, all of that are stories and events that you've kept record of. And I know with anthologies, you have the opportunity to be a part of projects, and you don't even have to disclose which story is yours. I do have, and I might share that tonight too. I do have a link where I have upcoming anthologies, and one of them is called Untold Stories. And so literally that, and that one is literally about like it's something similar to Brutal Courage, because being in Brutal Courage, I wasn't the lead author, but for the Untold Story, I would be the lead author, and it's literally telling stuff that you would dare to share, like events, because it's something about getting it out of you. It's something about getting it off your chest. It's something about writing that thing out. And so I may share the link. Well, I will share the link for the upcoming anthologies. I will share the link for anyone that wants to purchase books. I will be definitely to make sure I have that information. If I don't put it in the caption, I'll be sure to put it in the comments. And thank you, Kadena. She just on here commenting, so I appreciate y'all that came in, the hearts, all the likes, and even all that's to come. I just wanted to stop by and take a little time out of my day to encourage you to get to writing. Like, get that pen to that paper, write that story. And even as if you got some people that you know that need to be encouraged, a family member, a friend, tag them to this post, send them this video to encourage them to write their story, get their story out there. Again, someone that me who I didn't think I could do any of the work. I am now a five-time best-selling author, books on multiple sites, um, books inside of stores, like in local areas, and even with the Art Culture Hub. As I even prepare to end, to end this, even in the Art Culture Hub store where my books are placed, where it's placed and preparing to be placed. I when I went there to do the grand opening, I was reminded that years, I mean, when I was really out in the world, I used to be right around the corner from that place. And, just wow, a young girl just living my life. I was young. And I said, what will be the chances that God will send me back to these places where I once had an image, to now you can walk in the store, you can walk in this particular store in this location in this city, and you have books on the shelf with my name on it. The same girl that was in that same city, I mean, just living a wild life. And I talked about it in Metamorphosis. But you can go to that same city now and walk inside of a store, and I have a book on the shelf with my name. And as of August, actual date, August 2nd, I will have three books sitting on the shelf with my name on it. And so I just want to encourage you that your future is not predicated on your past. Because, baby, if it was, it would be no way how that I could be doing the work in which that I am doing now. So I just wanted to encourage you, get that pen to that paper. Thank you guys for tuning in for Author Talk, and I will see you later. Thanks, sis, for all your comments. God bless you. Encourage you to continuously write, continuously do all that God is calling you to do. Don't slow down. Don't doubt it. Continuously push, 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 push. When it comes to birthing, we can't do nothing but push, 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 push. And you guys have a good night.